Hi everyone, my name is Sereno Sky. I'm a writer and book author. I have written The Only Traveler, Part 1, and The Only Traveler, Part 2. My first book, Lonely Traveler, was published, I think, in 2014. I have to look at those things. It doesn't, yeah, 2014. As you see, I'm not really prepared for this, but I don't really care too much about preparing for this because I take my glasses off and I don't need to read. Because when I prepare too much, then I feel like, oh, this has been missing, this has been missing. But when I just say what I need to say, then if I missed anything, well, what needed to be said needed to be said. Oh, by the way, I don't have my teeth on the top. I will get them maybe tonight or one of these next days when the technician finished them. I'm actually thankful I was able to sell some books, which helps me to pay for my teeth now. And that's about it. Because other than that, I have not really been selling that many books. Of course, every writer would like to sell his books, just like every painter would like to sell some paintings, or somebody who makes nice bracelets, like this Italian guy here on the island of La Palma, who has a little workshop there, makes beautiful stuff. He likes to get a little money for them so that he can survive in this expensive world, I'd say. But let's get into that expensive world later. For right now, I would just like to say, hi, here I am. I got this idea yesterday that what about reading my book on YouTube, like a couple chapters at a time. And then I thought, well, I don't know, if there's an interest for this, or it's just going to be a waste of time, because I hate wasting time. I have a garden outside, little plants waiting for me, weed growing that some of it needs to be pulled out, or so the other things you want to grow, they grow. So I am not bored, and I'd like to write a new book too, but this idea just kind of got me that why not try something different? And there are a lot of people who may be interested in listening to my novel. A lot of people nowadays are not so much into reading anymore. One can say unfortunately, but that's how times these days are developing. And maybe sometimes people can listen to a book before they go to sleep, or sitting on the bus or train. And then there are maybe even some people who can't really afford to buy books, man. This, like I said, the world's expensive, and some people really have to turn every penny before they're able to spend it. Their food comes first, their bills come first, their train ticket to work comes first. A lot of other things come first. So, many people may be happy to just pay the basics without thinking of buying a book. So I thought, well, maybe if I read my book on YouTube and everybody can access it free of cost, free, then why not? It's not like I'm not really losing anything. Of course, it'd be nice if people were to buy the book, but if for some reason they don't or can't, then I think it would still nice for me to get my book known to people, because I believe it's a good book. Not comparing with other books, but when I write my books, I like to write it the best I can, and got a lot of positive response. I got a couple of negative response, like usually happens, and the same will happen with a video like that. You know, some people will really like it, and then there's some people who say, "Oh, this funky guy, and this was not really, you know, political correct," or blah blah blah. But if you let that stop you, some critics, then you will never get in front of a camera like I do now. So you have to live with that. But then there's always the escape button. Somebody doesn't like it, escape, bye and have a nice day and enjoy the rest of your life. But if some of what I'm saying interests you, then stay on. I'll get to my book because this is an introduction to my book. I started writing Lonely Childhood probably around 2012, but it had been building up for a while to write something. You know, I think already 2012 I started putting quotes on Tumblr, and then I got some positive feedback. Some people like them, and then I kept these quotes, and they became sort of like the bone structure for my book. And I still needed to find a story. Now, one thing I thought, because I myself was interested to find some books about those days, um, days I lived myself in my teen years, the hippie days. And I looked around, and it just looked to me like there really wasn't that much available that would attract me, and what was available I had already read. But I thought, like, wow, it's an exciting time in history. I mean, there's thousands of books about World War One, even 10,000s of books probably about World War Two, and different times in history. But about that time, and especially about the hippie movement and what young people went through in those days, what they experienced, what their hopes were, well, there's fairly little. One may find some documented stuff like, Woodstock movie and other documentaries, but like some exciting novel, something that kind of gets you into a story of someone who lived in those days, and there wasn't really anything. So I thought, oh well, why don't I make a story? And I kind of use my own experiences and how I became part of the hippie movement as a basic structure. I didn't want to buy an autobiography because that would be really putting, like, details of my life out in public, which I don't really care too much about. I don't think I'll ever write a biography. I'd like to take certain elements out of my life and, weave them into a story. And as I started writing, things just kind of started flowing. And the more I got into the story, the more it became like, for me, like watching a movie and just kind of writing down what I saw happen. And, it could go this way, it could go this way. So you kind of have to make choices when you write which way you want the story to go. I'm just hoping that in the end it will somehow be something interesting. Again, maybe not perfect. And, if you start comparing yourself with other writers, or if you paint and you start comparing with other maybe famous or successful writers, you will never do anything creative, really. You'll stop right there. Just like I would stop right now because, it's just me here. I'm talking to you just as if you have come in the door now and sat down, and I'd explained to you what my book is all about. So, I think I get to the end of this because there'll be a lot to write, but maybe I'll make a few more video clips about my life sometimes, about my garden. I live a very simple life. And, you know, I'm pensioner now for 1 year, and I take it very easy. I try to help with whatever money I have extra. I try to help others and not trying to make my life more fancy, or I'm very happy with the way it is, and I could even live a little simpler. It wouldn't bother me. I live very simply, as you will be able to read on the book. Now, the main figure in the book is called Bernardo, and I'd say he's a reflection of me in many ways. You'll find a lot of me in Bernardo, because I like things in a book to be authentic and not some kind of, you know, I don't like to invent some figure in a book that I have no connection with. That's not me. So, as I said, you'll find a lot of me in the main figure in the book, who is called Bernardo, and his girlfriend, and well, let's see how soon I can get the first couple of chapters out, and we'll post it as soon as they are ready, so that you could start reading my book. And I hope to, once I start posting the first 2 chapters, that I can get the next chapters fairly quickly, so no one needs to wait a long time for the next chapters. Once you get into a story, you would like to keep going and not have to wait. So I'll get probably a few chapters ready first before I post the first 2. But for right now, I just wanted to bring your attention to this new channel on YouTube, so that you can maybe check in sometimes. And of course, I'll use social media to let everyone know when the first 2 chapters are out. I thank you very much for your interest, and I was very encouraged by some of the comments people sent me when I asked, would you be interested? And a lot of people said, hey, please do it, man. That's great. So even if just a few people are excited, it's worth it, isn't it? Even if just one person is excited about something you do, that's already something. We don't need the masses. It's not what life is all about. We need to create a little joy, a little happiness, and it doesn't need to be for the masses. It needs to be just for little things, like my dog. Lila, come here, baby. Come to daddy. Good girl. Want to say hi? Come say hi, my baby. Come say hi, my baby. Come say hi, here, my baby. Yes, my baby wants to say hi. That's right. Good girl. Now we're gonna go on a walk soon. Look, say hi. Oh, where's the camera? I need to turn this a little here so they can see. My lovely, lovely lady Lila. Mwah. Okay, that was it for now. Love you all. Have a nice day, and see you soon.